If you've been scrolling through endless pages of weight distribution hitches, watching the same 3-minute videos that all sound like marketing copy, and still feel that nagging doubt about which system will actually keep your trailer stable on the highway, you're not alone. I've been there, staring at product listings, trying to picture a quiet ride versus a wobble that feels like you're driving a shopping cart down a gravel road. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. In this review, I'm going to break down what the B&W Continuum does in real-world towing, where it saves you time and money, and the exact situations where it might not be the right fit for you. First, let's talk about the problem most of us face when we first attach a trailer. The whole rig feels lopsided, the steering wheel fights back, and that dreaded sway shows up the moment you hit a gust of wind or a lane change. Those sensations aren't just uncomfortable, they are dangerous, especially if you're hauling a camper or a loaded utility trailer for work. The Continuum advertises itself as a one-system-fits-all solution that combines weight distribution and sway control in one package. In practice, that means you don't have to buy a separate sway control bar, a weight distribution spring, and then a separate hitch head. You bolt the unit onto a standard 2-inch receiver, drop in a 25/16-inch ball, and you're theoretically ready to go. For someone who wants to avoid a garage full of separate components, that convenience translates directly into fewer parts to lose, fewer connections to check, and a cleaner setup that's easier to inspect before each trip. Now, I'll walk through a typical day on the road with the Continuum installed. Imagine you're heading out of a suburban parking lot with a 3,200-pound travel trailer that's loaded with camping gear, a small generator, and a few pallets of supplies for a weekend project. You hook up the hitch, tighten the bolts, and pull away. Within the first few miles you notice a steadier feel in the steering wheel, no sudden pulling to one side when you change lanes. The quiet ride claim isn't just marketing speak. The integrated sway control mechanism dampens the lateral forces that usually make the trailer shimmy. When you hit a short stretch of uneven pavement, the system's weight distribution springs keep the rear of the tow vehicle level, reducing the nose-down feeling that can make braking feel harsher. In my own test, the trailer stayed square to the tow vehicle through a series of gentle curves, and I didn't have to make any micro-adjustments to the tension knobs that many separate sway control bars demand. That hands-off stability is where the value really shows up. You spend less time fiddling with knobs and more time focusing on the road or the load you're delivering. So, who should put this hitch on their truck? The sweet spot is anyone who tows on a regular basis, say, weekly, or at least a few times a month, and carries loads that approach or exceed half the gross vehicle weight rating (GVWR) of their tow vehicle. If you haul a camper for weekend trips, a utility trailer for a landscaping business, or a boat that adds a few hundred pounds to the rear of your pickup, the Continuum's combined weight distribution and sway control functions will give you a noticeable improvement in handling and safety. The quick install design also means you can swap it out on a Sunday morning without calling a mechanic. The bolts line up with standard 2-inch receivers, and the ball drops straight in. For DI-oriented owners who like to keep their rigs tidy, that convenience is a genuine time saver. On the flip side, if you only tow light loads like a single-axle trailer under 1,000 pounds for occasional garden trips, the extra hardware may be overkill. In those cases, a simple ball mount without weight distribution can handle the job, and you'll save the cost of a system that you won't fully exploit. Likewise, owners who already have a dedicated sway control bar that they trust might find the Continuum's integrated approach redundant. Some users also note that because the system is designed to fit a broad range of setups, the adjustment range isn't as fine-tuned as a bespoke, heavy-duty spring rate kit. If you're pulling a fully loaded travel trailer that pushes the upper limits of your truck's towing capacity, you may want a more specialized, high-capacity distribution system that offers deeper spring tension settings. In short, the Continuum shines for mid-range towing needs, but can feel a little generic for the extreme end of the market. Let's address the practical weaknesses that can show up after you've installed the unit. Because the hitch relies on the vehicle's existing 2-inch receiver, the load-bearing capacity is capped by that receiver's rating. If your truck's receiver is rated for 3,000 pounds and you intend to tow a 3,500-pound trailer, you'll be operating beyond the design limits, which defeats the safety purpose of the system. Another point to watch is the height of the ball relative to the trailer.